Snapshot 24w07a has arrived, and with it a brand new mob, the Bogged, among other fixes and news. My name is Slime and I'm here to show you all the changes. Let's start with the new mob, of course. The Bogged is a skeleton variant much like the Stray that has been added into the Update 121 experiment. The Bogged is mossy and mushroom covered and can spawn naturally in the darkness in swamp and mangrove swamp biomes. Just like the Strays, they spawn in addition to normal skeletons rather than replacing them entirely. And they're somewhat rare. The chance of a Bogged spawning is half of that of a common mob like a skeleton, zombie or creeper. One difference from the Strays and Husks is that the Bogged do not require sky access to spawn. They can also spawn in caves or other dark spaces in those biomes. The spawners in the trial chambers that used to spawn skeletons holding poison arrows now also spawned Bogged. Bogged have 16 health, that is 8 hearts, compared to the 20 or 10 hearts of regular skeletons. Like many other undead mobs, they burn when directly exposed to sunlight. They also attack slower, 3.5 seconds between attacks compared to 2 seconds. This shrinks to 2.5 seconds when playing on hard mode, compared to the 1 second of a regular skeleton. Arrows shot by Bogged inflict the poison effect, and they have a chance of dropping poison arrows when killed by players with the same chance that a Stray drops a slowness arrow. Bogged spawn eggs can of course be found in the creative inventory, looking a bit like slightly green tinted skeleton spawn eggs. Killing a Bogged now counts towards the Monster Hunter advancement and is also now required for the Monsters Hunted advancement. And parrots can now imitate Bogged sounds. Speaking of that, the Bogged also has new sounds, of course. An ambient sound. Sounds for walking around. For hurting. And for dying. That's it for the Bogged, but there are more experimental changes to breezes and wind charges. Breezes can no longer be damaged by wind charges, and projectiles deflected by the breeze now reflect instead of falling directly downwards. Killing a breeze with a looting sword now gives more wind charges as loot. Wind charges from a breeze that get deflected by a player now explode properly again. Wind charges can now pass through non-solid blocks like tall grass. And some bugs have been fixed with wind charge fall damage, including getting fall damage after landing in water, damage reducing blocks not working after using a wind charge, and conserved fall damage after changing game modes. However, this also comes with a known bug. The fall damage reduction of the wind charge simply does not work at all in this version. That's all for the experimental stuff, but there are other gameplay fixes in the Snapshot too, especially for the changes to hoppers introduced in last week's Snapshot. Hopper minecarts are no longer affected by the changes, and can now once again pick up items through blocks. And bee nests and hives are now exceptions to the rule, and hoppers will look for item entities to pick up even when those blocks are above them. In user interface news, the tooltip for Japanese glyphs no longer says Japans. There are also some technical news in the Snapshot. The datapack version is now 31 with a new tag and a new loot table. The tag is a block tag, does not block hoppers. By default, that contains only bee nests and bee hives. The new loot table is gameplay/panda sneeze, which means the loot for a sneezing panda is no longer hard-coded. In command news, the maximum depth for placing a jigsaw with the place command has now been adjusted to the new limit of 20, and 2 bugs with the tick command have been fixed. Chunk loading tickets no longer expire when the game is frozen with tick freeze, and the AI of mobs now updates consistently even the tick after the game having been frozen. In stability news, a fix in this version for chunks resetting randomly in worlds from Minecraft 1.8 or earlier when upgrading those worlds in the recent snapshots. And that's all of the changes in this snapshot. My name is Slime, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.